What's good, y'all? Welcome to an episode of Buzz Boys, and it's official. Michael Jordan has officially sold his majority stake in the Charlotte Hornets to Gabe Plotkin and Rick Schnall. Um, this brings a 13-year tenure to an end for Michael Jordan. As the majority owner, he still will be a part of the ownership group. He's just becoming a minority owner, so he no longer owns 51% of the team. So he's now a minority owner, but he still will be around. This new ownership group, it consists of 20 owners, including J. Cole, which is like the big celebrity owner. And there's another guy, he's a country singer, but I can't think of his name right now, Eric Church. Um, but yeah, Gabe Plotkin and Rick Schnall are basically the main two. Rick Schnall is the governor. Gabe Plotkin is the alternate governor. And yeah, I guess you can basically call them co-owners. They said that their ownership shares are pretty much very similar. So guess you can just call them co-owners. Um, and that's something that I guess I kind of like because, with Michael being the only owner, he has the final say. It is what it is. Now, with co owners, you can kind of bounce ideas off of each other, and there can just be, I guess you could say, more of a thought process in decisions, which I think could be a good thing. Um, so yeah, that's nice. I think it's Rick Schnall. He was a owner of the Hawks. He was a minority owner there. I think both of them have been minority owners with the Hornets since like 2019, 2020, something like that. But they had some interesting quotes, and that's really what I'm gonna get into to basically talk about what they talked about in an introductory press conference. If you watch the whole press conference, it's on the Hornets page, so you can watch the whole 30-minute thing. But I'm just gonna talk about what stood out to me when I watched it yesterday. Um, One of the big statements that they made, they said the goal is to be the premier franchise in the NBA. And, being the premier franchise, I guess that means being the best team in the NBA, being an attraction that, other players want to come to. Excuse me. So, yeah, that was interesting to see, interesting to hear, because that's a very big goal. um and also they talked about how, I think it's Gabe Plotkin that said both of these things, but talked about how to him this team is a top 10 to 15 team in terms of attractiveness in the NBA. Talked a lot about the good young core and how they want to build upon it. But, you know, they said to other people, we might have been viewed as a lower tier team, but to them, they could see as a top 15 team in terms of attractiveness. And I mean, Charlotte is a nice city to live in, but really talking about the young core that if built right, we could be a good team. Um, they talked about wanting to produce a winning team, which was what I want to hear. How do they feel about winning? They said they want to win very badly. They have expectations for this year, thinking that we should be a good team, and in 3 to 4 years can actually be a very good team, a really good team for years and years to come. So these are all things that you want to hear them saying. They said a lot of the right things. Um, but one thing that stood out to me as well was that they said they're going to be really patient owners. And they didn't necessarily elaborate on that. At least I don't remember them elaborating on it. But that stood out to me because what does that mean exactly? You're going to be really patient owners in terms of what? In terms of player development, in terms of general manager results, like in what terms are they going to be really patient? I don't know what that means. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that that's a bad quality or trait. You don't want hasty decisions being made when we're talking about franchise future hanging in the balance. You don't want to make hasty decisions. So there's nothing wrong with being patient, but it did kind of like perk my ears up. Like, Okay, what exactly does that mean? Um, but they talked about, and this is mainly Gabe Plotkin saying most of this stuff, um, that they're gonna trust in the analytics and player development, and that building stuff like that should manifest onto the court production. And that was interesting to hear because these are younger owners, and with that comes more modern things. So we might be a team that looks at analytic numbers and really starts making big decisions based off of that, um, which I'm not necessarily opposed to. I think there's a good balance that could be had between analytics and the eye test, and just knowing basketball. But I think it's important that we incorporate things like analytics, and that they are putting a big key on player development. They talked about that a lot throughout the 30 minutes. And like I already said, talked about how they think the building blocks are here, and that we could be super good in 3-4 years, like really good. Um, but the man talked about how the goal is to grow and retain talent. Um, and now they did say, as you do that, as you become a good team, people are gonna want to come. And Charlotte is a place where people like to live anyway. But if they see that you are a good team, a good young team, people are gonna want to come. But the goal is to grow and retain talent in house, and to win with the people we have, which also perked my ears up because you have somebody like PJ Washington, who just averaged 16 points and 5 rebounds at 24 years old, who's still a free agent in August. So, I need to see. I need to see stuff getting backed up. I just don't want to hear words. Because if you want to grow and retain talent, and you want to win with the people you have, you would sign PJ Washington. And something on PJ Washington, I might make another video about this. I don't know, but it was on some Hornets page. I can't think of the top of my head. He was on his live, and he asked him, "Is he come back to the Hornets?" And PJ said, "We'll see." And he told PJ to just sign the contract, and PJ said, "What contract?" So that's pretty concerning. So we'll see. As PJ said, we'll see if he's back. But to hear the two owners talk about growing and retaining talent and winning with the people we have, re-signing PJ would be step one in showing that those two statements are true. We'll see. But they talked about being committed to investing in the franchise, which I hinted at a little bit in my last video. If you haven't watched it, go watch the Frank the Kingdom video. But they talked about being committed to investing in the franchise, the arena. They said within the next year or two, Spectrum Center is going to be completely unrecognizable. It's going to be basically whole new arena. Investing in the team, the facilities, and player development. They talked about that a lot, and they said the future in Charlotte is very bright, and they want state of the art facilities as far as the arena goes, and they want to build a whole new practice facility separate from the building, which I guess we don't have currently. I guess the players don't have their own practice facility. So they said they want to build that, and they want everything to be state of the art. They said that when players come to Charlotte, they want players to say we have the best facilities in the NBA. So, hearing these guys talk like this, it sounds like they're not afraid of spending money on the right things, which is really all you want. I don't want us to or need us to be a luxury tax team every single year and all things like that. But as an owner, don't be afraid to invest in the things that matter. And like I said, they said a lot of the right things that I want to hear coming from owners. Don't be cheap. Don't be scared to spend money. That's something where with Michael Jordan, we've kind of been there. So, they did just inherit the team officially, literally yesterday. So, or 2 days ago at this point, whenever this video gets out. But so, I don't want to put too much on this season because next season is going to be their first full year as owners, so we can kind of start judging from there, even though, this season does matter too. But it's like MJ controlled the draft this year. All of this, it just became official a few days ago. So free agency's already over. A lot of things that could have been done are kind of already done at this point. So it is what it is. Um, they talked about how bright the future is. Talked about how we just have 4 draft picks this year that they think are all going to be very good. They did talk about James Najee being overseas, so I guess we know at least for one more year he will be in Europe. Um, and somebody asked, do they intend to make any front office changes? And they said currently no, not in the short term, but obviously evaluation has to be done at the end of every season. So yeah, and this is Mitch Kupchak's last year of his contract as the general manager. So, you know, at the end of the season, Mitch is pretty old. It is very possible this is his last season, and um, somebody was linking us to. I wish I knew his name off the top of my head. It's like somebody with the Nets. He's an up and coming young mind, and could possibly be up next for us. So I might make a video on that in the next few days when I get more information and learn more about him. But anyways, I'm about to wrap this up. Don't want to make this video too long. If there's any more information you want to know, go to the Hornets YouTube channel and you can watch the whole 30-minute press conference. I just personally want to talk about, the official sale. And, it's official, man. Like, a lot of people gave MJ hell. Um, and don't get me wrong, bro. We definitely had some very bad years. Shit, the worst season in NBA history was 7 fucking wins. I watched every game. I was there for that shit. So there were definitely highs and lows, man. But hopefully, you know, this new ownership group can take us to new heights, man. Because I feel like we're close as a team. Um, we just need a few more players to develop, get 1, 2 free agents or two, and I think we could really be a powerhouse, man, for the next few years. But anyways, like I said, I'm gonna wrap this up. I'll catch y'all on the next one, man. Peace.